Hello everyone, my name is Lynette Stevens and I hope that the DIY idea I share with you tonight will encourage you to be creative and to create a cozy home. Before we get started with tonight's project, I want to take just a few seconds here and first off, thank you guys. Thank you for sharing my post, liking my post, for telling your friends and family about my videos. I really appreciate it. It's been a few days since I've picked one of you to receive some happy mail from me. So I've gone back over the last couple of videos and gathered the names of everyone who's sprinkled my videos and told your family and friends about my videos. And I've picked a name, and the name is Sherry Pistol, I think is how you pronounce your last name, Sherry. If I butchered it, please forgive me. But Sherry dear, I'm going to be sending you this cute little journal and a cute little wood branch pencil to write in your fun little journal. So Sherry dear, if you're watching or catch me on the replay, if you will get me your mailing address, I'll get this off in the mail to you. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to send you a message too in case you missed tonight's video so that you can get your happy mail from me. So Jeanette, Barbara, Shelly, Donna, thank you gals for joining me, and my sweet friend Darlene, and Dana and Cheryl. I appreciate you ladies so very much. Okay, so a disclaimer before we get started tonight. I know I told you guys on Friday night that I would come back either last night or tonight with a winter decor idea, something like for a pot type, fill one of your flower pots on the front porch. But I changed my mind, and I'll do that either tomorrow or Tuesday instead, and here's why. If you caught my live on Friday night, then you know that I was at my local Walmart and found some really amazing deals on Christmas florals, greenery, bushes and branches and stems and picks. But in addition to that, I also told you that I was able to find wood rolling pins marked down right now because they're in the Christmas section with Christmas items. They're marked down 75%, which makes these guys 50 cents a piece. 50 cents a piece. So I decided, I told you Friday night, that I was going to come on and show you how you can create vintage looking rolling pins. Maybe you've already got a rolling pin collection and you would like to add to it, or you'd like to start a rolling pin collection. So I thought I need to go ahead and share this with you now because in my mind, this is time sensitive. The reason it's time sensitive is because I'm sure Walmart is selling out of these pretty quickly, especially when people find out that they're 50 cents a piece. So I wanted to come on tonight and do this idea with you, and then I just pushed the winter decor idea because I don't want you guys to miss this. If this is something you're interested in, you're gonna need to get to your Walmart and get these guys while they're 50 cents before they're gone. Now here's the deal. Even if they're gone and you do like this idea, you can find these little bare wood rolling pins at Walmart just over in the kitchen section, and I wanna say they're only $4 or $5. You know, even if you can't get them on the Christmas clearance aisle or whatever, but for 50 cents, it's such a bargain. So I'm gonna show you guys, this is the label, okay? It's Mainstays Rolling Pin. That's what the label looks like. Can you guys see that? So I'm gonna hold that there for a second. If you wanna try to find these 50-cent rolling pins, snap a screenshot right now, okay, while I'm holding this. So when you go to your local Walmart, you know exactly what you're looking for, all right? So get your picture. Got your picture? All right, label's going away. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of my vintage rolling pins that I have. I'm gonna show these two, and if I'd have felt like crawling up on, getting a ladder and crawling up to the top of my cabinets, I would show you my black handled one, but I figured these two are good enough. So you see this kind of, looks like probably from the 50s, green color, and then this red one. All right, and these are ones that I have just picked up at, you know, barn sales, thrift stores, craft fairs, whatever, over the years. I've got my own little rolling pin collection, and I keep them in two places. I have kind of a larger crock that I put them in, and you guys, if you've been following me for a few weeks now, You know that I used those in the middle of my dining room table as a Christmas vignette, if you will, on my table with some other things around it. And then I also have another crock holding the rest of my rolling pin collection sitting on top of my kitchen cabinet. And I'll get a picture of that and post it for you guys after a while. And I've got the one off my table. When we're done with our rolling pins, I'll show you guys mine, and maybe it will inspire you or give you an idea. I will also, as I go along, give you another idea for a super cute way to display. As a matter of fact, 2 ways that you can display your rolling pins. One for my friend Kim, something she does with hers, and then just some other ideas I've seen on Pinterest. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the green that I just showed you, red, and you guys, I'm just using simple craft paint. You guys can pick this up at Walmart for 50 cents a bottle over in the crafting department, okay? And then I'm gonna do black on my third one. All right, so what we're gonna do is just go ahead and get started. Did you guys see my tip the other day about using an egg carton for holding your paint when you're doing a project like this? It's the best thing in the world, because you guys know a lot of times when I'm doing something with you, I will use a paper plate, a small paper or plastic plate, and that's great. But the thing I love about the old egg crate, using an egg crate, I guess not old, but an egg crate, is that it keeps your paint in a smaller area instead of letting it spread out on the plate. So I love using this, all right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get those 2 rolling pins out of the way. I want to start off just having my handles kind of already have the vintage look and feel. And the way that I can do that, and you guys, if you've been following me for a while, when I paint things, you know you've heard me say this before, very little paint on my brush. The backside really doesn't even have paint, a very little paint. And then listen, I'm dabbing some of that off, because if I put the paint on very lightly, I'm halfway there to my vintage look, right? Because we want it to be worn. Where did I stick? Oh, here's my green one. See how my, and sure enough, vintage one is missing. You know, it's got paint gone. And all right, if we don't put too much paint on, we're halfway there, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm being careful not to get it on the end of my rolling pin. If that makes you nervous, use some painter's tape and tape that off, or aluminum foil, anything that you wanna hold around right there to keep your paint off your rolling pin, because you really don't wanna get that on there, all right? So here's what I'm gonna do. Think butterfly kisses, all right? Light strokes, do not go with a heavy hand, and then we're gonna be partway there to our vintage look just by not putting too much paint on to begin with, okay? So we're getting our paint, and we're just painting. And guys, another thing, if you followed me for a while, I know you've heard me say this, and I hope you don't get tired of it, but you gotta keep in mind, I have new people coming on all the time. One of the things you don't want to do, and I'm gonna show you this time, okay? You've got your paint on your brush and just a very little paint at that. You don't want to set your brush down in a hard, tight manner, forceful, and then pull, because when you do, you're gonna end up with a big blob of paint, and it's not gonna look good, and then you're gonna have to try to sand that off. So you want to almost already be moving your paintbrush before you touch your, in my case, my handle, okay? And then even at that, I'm touching my handle lightly and I'm pulling in feather type strokes. Nothing harsh. If you're painting too heavy-handed, too harsh, then you're gonna end up with blobs and you're not gonna be happy, all right? So, I am going to call that one good. I'm gonna let you guys see this. Do you see how the wood is showing through? That's exactly the look that we want, okay? And then here in a little while, I'm gonna show you how 2 more things we're gonna do to distress it and then to give it even more of a vintage look. You guys, this goes fast. If you're not having to talk like I am, this is a quick project. Big bang for your buck when you're paying 50 cents a piece for these, okay? So let's get our other handle painted. Okay. So light strokes, not too much paint. All right. And listen, guys, I'm purposely skipping, leaving areas not painted. See that? Can you guys see? on purpose because that's getting us to where we want to be with our vintage antique look. All right, that one's done. So now I'm just going to, I've got a little cup of water here and I'm just dipping my brush in, kind of like we all learned to do in elementary school, right? When we were washing out our brush in just a cup of water. Same thing, guys. All right, and then I'm just gonna get the excess water and paint off of my brush. And you guys, when I'm doing something like this, and using 2 or 3 different colors and using paint colors, but using the same brush, I try to go with like my lighter color, and then my medium kind of color, and then my darker. So I'm going with the green, then the red, and then I'll finish up with the black. That's just something I do. And that way I'm not doing a black or a red and then painting in white and running the risk of that black or that red, you know, a little bit being left in the brush and messing up my project. So that's something I do. You don't have to do that, but I thought I'd share that with you guys. All right, so same thing here. I'm gonna very quickly, you guys are seeing kind of how I do it. All right, now that I got a little more paint as far as up on the bristle, but I've wiped the majority of the paint back off. So it's like a dry brush technique, okay? And we want to be very careful with our strokes here so that we don't paint it too solid. And listen, if you do get too much paint on, it's fine, because I'm going to show you in a second how we can fix that, okay? So let's get this on real fast, then we'll move to our third guy, get our black handles painted, then we can start distressing and antiquing our rolling pins. So you guys tell me if you are into rolling pins, if you either have a rolling pin collection or would you like to start one. Give me some hearts or some likes, and then in the comments let me know, because I'm just curious how many of you already have a rolling pin collection, or you want to start one. Let me know that if you're wanting to start one. I think they're wonderful. I have loved them and collected them for years. So I just think that they add a lot of, I don't know, hominess maybe, you know, to your kitchen decor. That's what I feel like. And then I wonder, the ones that I've bought at different places, I kind of wonder, you know, what's their story? You know, how old are they? What sweet ladies have used it? And what kind of things did they roll out with it? I wonder all those things when I buy a new, to me, old rolling pin. So, and I'm going to tell you guys the truth. A couple of, maybe 2 or 3 of the rolling pins in my collection, I did this. This is exactly what they are. They're ones that I bought that were just wood like these, and I did the antiquing just like I'm showing you guys. So I've even got some cheaters, if you will, in my collection that truly aren't old and vintage. I just made them look that way. All right. Okay, you guys, I'm going back over this because apparently I had a little too much water still in my brush, and the red, the intensity is not what I wanted. So if that happens to you, just do what I'm doing. Go back over it again with a light coat, okay? You don't need to be heavy-handed with it. Just a light coat back over, and it will create a little more intense color, which is what I wanted. Oh yeah, much, much better. That makes me happy because it was just a little too watercolor looking like I was working with watercolors. So this is 10 times better. All right. So I think I'm pretty happy with that guy, and I'll let you see that it's not painted perfectly, and maybe that end needs just a hair of color. Okay, so there's kind of what it looks like now. I'm going to hold it up where you guys can see. All right, so we're already on our way to having something that looks old. All right, so let me go back into the water here so we can get our red out. Okay, and then back to our paper towel. I'm gonna get this out of my way. All right, we got one more set of handles to paint, and then we'll be on to our distressing. And you guys, at this point, what I do is I just kind of wipe my brush until I don't see red coming off, or in my case, kind of pink, because we've had it in the water. And then that's when you know you're good to go with your next color, okay? And the last color we're going to do is our black, all right? So let's do our black real quick and get our third set of handles done, and then we'll get on to our next step. Okay, so let's get this guy finished up real quick. I'm excited to go back and look at your comments so that I can see if there's any other rolling pin fans out there like me. And I have a feeling that I'm gonna have some, because I think a lot of you gals have the same style and taste that I do. So I have a feeling that we are going to have some rolling pin fans. So you guys, let me look at this to see if you're asking me questions and I'm missing them. You guys know the drill. You know I'll go back and answer them tonight or tomorrow. Let's see, Myra, like the red, it looks more vintage. Yes, Myra, I agree with you, and I'm not gonna lie, the majority of my rolling pins in my collection, Myra, have the red handles. Because if you followed me for a while, you've either heard me say it or you've probably figured it out by my post, that red's my favorite color. So it's my favorite color anyway, but something about those rolling pins with red handles, they just get to me. I absolutely love them. So Ramona, you have your grandmother's wood rolling pin that was passed down to your mom. I've watched your rolling pin. Oh my goodness, I can't see the rest of your comment, Ramona, but I'll go back. I have a feeling you're telling me that you've watched several different things being made with those rolling pins. And listen, Ramona, I don't know if you saw my post the other day, but my grandma Taylor, so my dad's mom, Ramona, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Ramona's my sweet friend that lives here in my hometown, you guys. I have my grandmother's biscuit cutter that I watched her when I was a little girl. I watched her make homemade biscuits with it. On the nights I would spend the night, I would get woke up in the mornings, you guys, to the smell of those biscuits, bacon in the oven, or the bacon being fried up in the pan, or the sausage or whatever, just breakfast on. And it got, as I got older, I would tell my grandma to wake me up before she started breakfast so that I could go in and watch her make her homemade biscuits. Well, I've got that biscuit cutter, and then I've got her little set of the metal looking measuring cups with the handles on them, and I absolutely love those because every time I get those out, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't use my grandma's biscuit cutter, but I do have it sitting out in a prominent place in my kitchen so that every time I look at it, it just puts a smile on my face because I'm reminded of how many mornings I watched her roll out and cut her biscuits. So great memories. I love that. Absolutely love it. Hi, Joyce. Thank you for joining me. Joyce from Michigan. Amy, I'm so glad you're on, dear. If you would, the photo that I saw you post in the group that you and I are in, if you would post that to me share that on my page, I would love to share your photo with these gals because I think they will love what you've done. So post that pic if you would tonight for me. So Carol, see, same thing, your mom. Now my mom wasn't into making homemade biscuits, but my grandmother absolutely. And it's just such a great memory for me today. I love it. So, all right, girls. So now that we've got all of our handles painted, I'm going to take just a little piece of sandpaper and I'm going to go back over it just in a couple of places where it looks like I got a little heavy-handed. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So there's not going to be a whole lot of sanding, but if you find that you've got too much paint, this is how you fix it, girls. You just take a little piece of sandpaper, all right, and you just sand in those few places. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that guy. We're not going to sand anymore on him. Then this is all you do. This right here, you just sand. And sand lightly to start with, okay? Because you don't want to sand away too much, and then, of course, you'd be back to painting again. So I'm just going to kind of turn my handle here while I sand, all right? And just sand away. I'm pretty happy with this red one too. I don't know that we're going to do a whole lot more sanding on him either. Okay, I think we're going to call him good. And then let's work on our black one here real quick. Get this guy where he looks worn. Okay. All right, guys. It didn't require a whole lot of sanding, but do you see how already just that little bit of sanding I did on this black one, how good that looks? So we're getting ready to kick it up yet another notch. So I'm going to put my plastic gloves on because we're getting ready to use wood stain to create our vintage look on our rolling pins, okay? And I will tell you guys that a lot of times when I'm not live with you, I don't put my gloves on. I just stain. But then that's kind of a pain to get that stain back off. So if that bugs you, just buy you a box of these little disposable gloves. You could even buy the ones that, like the kitchen disposable ones that they have everywhere. And use those and then just toss them, whatever. But I buy mine at Harbor Freight because you guys know I do the DIY workshops here at my home, and we use lots of gloves in my workshops. So I buy mine by the box of 100, but you don't have to do that. You can buy the little pack of 10 or 20 gloves, whatever it is, at like Dollar General or Walmart, and use those for your staining. Now, I want to share with you guys what I'm going to use tonight is just Minwax wood stain. Super easy. You guys can get this at Walmart. Of course, you can get it at all the hardware stores, but Walmart carries it back in their paint department, okay? And I'm just using a little 1-inch brush. You guys don't have to use a brush. I get asked that a lot, and you don't have to use a brush. You could use a rag and apply your stain with rag. This is just my preferred method, but you do what you want. You could even use, if your wood is smooth, like these rolling pins, you could use a sponge brush, one of the little foam brushes. Works great for stain. Unless you're doing something like a cedar or a wood that has a tendency to be pretty sticky, if you will, you don't want to use a foam brush on that. But something really smooth like this, I absolutely could have used the foam brush. But I use these brushes because this is what I use all the time. All right, and what we're going to do is we're just going to wipe our wood stain on our rolling pin, okay? And you guys don't have to cover every square inch, because when we start to wipe it with our rag, aka old t-shirt in my case, it's going to spread that stain around, so you don't have to cover every square inch with your stain by any stretch, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stain this end of my rolling pin while I'm doing the handle, because it's just all right there, and it makes it super easy to just take your clean rag and wipe it, okay? So I will tell you this, if you want a darker look, antiqued look, the longer you let your stain set, the darker it's gonna be, okay? And I forgot to tell you guys, the color I'm using tonight is Early American. That is my absolute favorite go-to. If you're not sure about a color of wood stain, I recommend Early American to everybody because it's just a good warm brown, all right? And it works great on a lot of different things. So that's my go-to color. If this, when we're finished, if this is too dark for you, then a good choice would be the Minwax Fruitwood is the name of the stain that you would want, okay? If you want something a little lighter. All right, let's go ahead and do our other end, and then we'll do the body of our rolling pin, okay? So this is super duper easy, you guys. And then when we're finished with our stain, I'm going to show you guys one more thing you can do that to me really finishes these off very nicely. And I'll share that secret with you too after we get all three of our rolling pins stained, okay? So this is pretty simple. I told you guys at the beginning of the video that I would share a couple of other ideas for how you can display your rolling pin collection. One way is, you guys know the hangers that are made, and they're usually wire hangers that are intended to hang in your bathroom, and then they've got, you know, little, I don't know what you call them, half moon shaped hangers on them, little slots for you to roll up a towel and set the towels on those different little levels. Those are perfect to hold rolling pins. So if you've got a place in your kitchen or dining room where you can put something that's long and rectangle, hang that on the wall, and then your rolling pins go on that, and it works great. Another thing that works wonderful for displaying your rolling pin collection is wine bottle holders. So if you can find a wine holder, the kind that, as a matter of fact, even the ones that hang on the wall for that matter. I said the towel holders a while ago, but wine bottle holders do the same thing. So if you can find the wine bottle holders that sit on the countertop, if you don't have space on your wall for displaying your rolling pins and you don't want to put them in an old crock or a basket or a galvanized bucket or something like I do, and you want them up on your countertop, find yourself a wine bottle holder. And then these, where you would stick the wine bottles in, you're gonna stick your rolling pins in instead, okay? That turns out gorgeous. It looks so good. And if you guys will get, because I don't have one, or I would have shown you tonight kind of what it looks like, but you can get on Pinterest and search for it, and you can find examples of what I'm talking about so that you can see if that is the look that you would want. And I can tell you guys that I see things like that in thrift stores all the time. So if you're interested in that and you don't want to pay full price for it, then check your local thrift stores, because chances are you're going to go in there and find some kind of wine bottle holder or one of those towel racks, you know, the towel holders that mount on the wall. I see that stuff all the time. They're usually metal. Sometimes I will see wooden ones. So, you know, whichever one meets, you know, matches your decor or whatever, would be perfect. Okay, so guys, let's just look here. So here's the one we just did. Here's my vintage one. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember what I paid for this guy, but for 50 cents, I think our rolling pin looks pretty good for something we paid 50 cents for. So let's finish getting these guys stained real quick. And then I'm going to share with you a way to kind of, you know, really finish it off nicely, kick it up a notch. And then we will look at my rolling pin collection in my old crock, just to give you guys an idea. So I'm going to look here for a second and see if any of you are asking me any questions. Lori, thank you. Absolutely. I love that green. That green, does that remind you guys of the green from like the 50s? It does me. This just looks like something from the 50s to me. Kind of that, I don't even know what color they called it back then, but that's definitely what that reminds me of, because it's not quite the avocado green from the 60s. It's the, I call it 50s green because I don't really know what to call it. Hi, Jan. Thank you for joining me, my sweet friend. And to my friend Diane, I appreciate you ladies. Thank you all for coming on. Let's see, Myra, dear, are you asking me something? Oh, okay, Myra, I bought these at Walmart Friday evening for 50 cents a piece. Now, let me tell you where they're at. They're with all the Christmas clearance. Kind of weird. They have this. They have some kitchen utensils, just baking things with I guess they got them for Christmas. And because they're Christmas, they're 75% off. So they're 50 cents a piece. But just find wherever. And if you guys don't find it, because one of my friends told me that she was having difficulty finding the Christmas clearance, and I think she went to where the Christmas items were before Christmas. And let me tell you guys, that's not where I found these. At my local Walmart, back near the pet section and kind of right before you head out to the garden center, they had moved all of their Christmas items, and I mean wrapping paper, bows, you know, greenery, the greenery that you guys saw me use Friday night, all of that had been moved back on a couple of aisles. And then where I found these rolling pins weren't on an aisle. They were like between that clearance section and where the pet supplies are, dog food and the, you know, fish food, cat food, whatever. All the pet section, between it and the clearance, they had just their cardboard displays, like the 4 foot by 4 foot cardboard displays. And that's where these rolling pins were. I realize it's a lot of information, but if you want these guys for 50 cents, I want to make sure you can find them. So hope that wasn't too much information, but they're not where you would go look for Christmas. Don't go there. That's not where I found these. So And if you don't find them, you guys find an employee and ask them where their Christmas clearance items are, okay? Because let me tell you, when I bought these the other night, I guarantee you, I ended up picking up some for some friends. So let me see, I bought probably 10 of them, and I would guess there was probably at least 15 or 20 more in the bin when I walked off. So they had lots of them. That makes me feel like you guys should be able to find these, those of you that want to recreate this, okay? I don't think you'll have trouble finding them. I really don't. And like I said, if you do, just walk over to the kitchen section over in housewares, and I think they're the wooden ones, I want to say they're like $5 last time I looked. So even at that, they're still not super expensive. But the 50-cent ones get me really excited. So hopefully you guys can find them for 50 cents. So thank you guys for being patient with me and staying here while I antique, aka stain, our rolling pins. So I'm gonna look and see if, oh Joyce, I'm so glad you like this idea, and you're welcome, dear. You are very, I know, Myra, isn't that right? 50 cents a piece, crazy. And for somebody like me who absolutely loves rolling pins, I was pretty excited when I found these. I was really excited when I found these. I think Mr. Stevens sometimes looks at me and he's like, okay, I'm not sure what the excitement is about these 50-cent rolling pins, but I'm telling him, hey, just start putting them in the basket. I got to call so-and-so and so-and-so and see if they need some of these, because I have some friends that I know have rolling pin collections. So I had to holler at them and pick them up for them too, because 50 cents a piece, who can pass that up? So pretty exciting. You guys, I'm just looking to see, Amanda, I'm so glad you could join me, dear. Listen, with your cute little farmhouse look that you've got going on in your home, these would be super cute. So Amanda, dear, I bought these at the Walmart in Edmond at I-35 and 15th, and they're back where all the Christmas clearance items are. So if you want to go check those out, that's where I got them. But Amanda, I think these would be super cute in your kitchen, dear, because with your little farmhouse and look that you're doing, you know, and I'm doing a black one, which is perfect probably for what your decor is. And then listen, guys, one more thing I did want to mention to you tonight is you don't have to paint your all the handles either. You could just as easily, that one's kind of loose, you could just as easily just stain the whole thing. So Amanda, that would be super cute at your house too, if you just wanted to stain them, all right? So that would be another super cute idea. All right, guys, you are so patient. We're almost done with these guys. Then I can tell you something you might want to do that will really kind of add to them and enhance their overall look. And then we'll talk about my Crock over here that I've got my rolling pins in, and I'll let you guys take a look at that to see if it gives you an idea. Okay? Let's see. Oh, Marla, what a great idea. You guys, Marla has a super idea. She Mod Podged a napkin onto her rolling pin. And Marla, if you found napkins that matched your kitchen motif or just your design style, how cute is that? That is an awesome idea. So you guys, that's a great idea right there. I love that. That is a super cute idea. I bet that was beautiful. And listen, if any of you gals like the kind of shabby chic look, if you found some cute little floral napkins in your color scheme or whatever, and listen, you could do, well, this green would be super cute with your stuff. You could even do some pink handles and do some cute little floral napkin on it, and that would be adorable. As a matter of fact, you just gave me an idea, dear, because I've got a friend that is just starting to do some of the shabby chic idea look decor in her home. She might be getting one of those from me, because that is an awesome idea. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Do you guys have any other fun ideas of ways to use them, because I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite, because you guys know my decor style and you know this is what I'm into. So I absolutely love just the simplicity of this. But that was a great idea to Mod Podge the napkin on. Let's see, to my friend Patty. Yes, you guys, Patty's got a great idea. As cheap as these are, you could cut these guys in half. Patty, are you talking about where you cut them in half and then you can mount them, screw them onto a board and use them as towel holders? I think that's what you're talking about. You guys are some super cute ideas. And Patty reminded me, get on Pinterest. Get on Pinterest and just type in rolling pin crafts, rolling pin ideas, and see how many different ideas you can find for 50-cent rolling pins. Patty, if that is what you're talking about, you know what would be cute? If you did that and maybe you've got a couple of vintage, or you've got a collection of vintage aprons or 2 or 3 vintage aprons. Maybe they belong to your mother, your grandmother, your aunt. How cute would it be to display those in your kitchen by using these cut in half, mounted onto a board? Patty, that is a great idea. And then you could have your vintage aprons hanging on them. Because I've got both of my grandmothers, an apron from each grandmother. That would look super cute. Patty, thank you for that, dear. You guys are awesome. Let me see. She bakes. I might see if I can find some. Oh, Sally, I can't see the rest of your comment, but you're saying take one of the quotes that your grandmother used to tell you and see if you could find them. And then are you saying you would put those on this rolling pin? Because if that's true, I love that. And you know what, guys? Have you seen the little saying that's, you know, whatever, you're the gravy to my biscuits or whatever? Something like that. If you've got a Cricut or have friends that do, that could cut that out, that would be cute on here. You know, kitchen is the heart of the home, whatever. Or, you know, it could very easily say Patty's Kitchen. And let me tell you, you don't even have to have a Cricut or a friend with a Cricut. You guys can go to like Hobby Lobby, go back in the scrapbooking department, and they've got the cutest vinyl letters, usually black. I think they have white, maybe a couple of other colors. But you guys could buy the vinyl letters and just spill out anything you want on your rolling pin. So that's a super cute idea. Carrie said she just looked on Walmart.com. The cheapest she found was $2.29. Yeah, and still that's a great price. That's a great price. So if you guys can't find them in your local Walmart, do what Carrie just did and get on, or not Carrie, Kathy, I'm sorry, dear. Do what Kathy did. Get on Walmart and order them for $2.29, because you're right. That idea for cutting them in half is cute. One more idea. Have you guys seen on Pinterest how you take like 2 vintage pie pans, cheesecake pans, fill in the blank, or whatever pans, and you take the 2 pans and you can make a 2-tiered shelf, and then the pedestal, if you will, for it is rolling pin. You could make that with these. You could just take your handle off down here, cut this guy in half, you screw this to your metal pie plate, okay, pie pan, whatever, and then do the same thing with the top. So your pan would be down here for your first level tray. Your second level tray would be your other pie plate or whatever you have, pie pan here, and then this part, top half, sticks up from there with your little handle on top. I bet you guys have seen these on Pinterest. Super duper cute, 50 cents. Go find you a couple of cute cans that you can use. And listen, if you're into like the white farmhouse look, you could even paint your rolling pin itself white, or just stain your rolling pin and spray paint or use chalk paint to paint whatever pie tins, whatever you use for your trays. You could paint those white and then just stain this. That would be super cute for you gals that like that white farmhouse look. So that's another super cute thing you could do with these. Okay, the next thing I want to tell you guys is the one that the first time I did this and antiqued my own rolling pin, I'll get these out here where you guys can see them. First time I did it, I stopped right there. I put it in my rolling pin collection and that was that. What I noticed was probably, I don't know, months later or a year later, they just kind of looked dry. And I was like, well, that's not really the look I wanted, because I like, you know how when you find vintage pieces and like my vintage rolling pins, they would have a little bit of a sheen to them, like a little bit of a patina. Okay, to get that look, what I did is, now you can do it two different ways. You can get polyurethane or like a spray type varnish, and you can spray them with either a polyurethane or a varnish. You can get polyurethane in liquid form and use your little foam brush and apply the polyurethane that way, all right? But I'm gonna tell you my favorite, because in either one of those two scenarios, you're gonna have to get this guy and do, one half at a time and make sure and let that dry good, and then turn it over to do the back side, right? All right, if you use this product, you can do it all at once. It's by Minwax, and it is called Paste Finishing Wax. Have any of you ever used this? This stuff is wonderful, and it automatically kind of creates that vintage, antiqued patina. All right, that little bit of a sheen, but not too shiny. This stuff is wonderful for that. So how this is used, and I don't want to use it right now, because ideally you would want to let this dry for at least an hour or so before you seal it with this wax. And listen, if you guys are into using chalk paint, those of you that use chalk paint and you've got your wax that you use over your chalk paint, same thing. It will do the same thing this does. But if you don't have that, then you can pick up this Minwax paste. And what I do, how I apply it, is I just take, an old piece of a t-shirt or an old rag, and you just get it, I put it on my rag, and then I just wipe it all over. So I'd wipe it all over my rolling pin, and then set that aside, go do something else. I'd give it at least an hour, maybe 2 or 3 would even be better, okay? And then come back to it with another clean rag, all right? Not the one you use to apply it, but a soft, clean rag. And then literally just do this, just a buffing motion. And then, you're just buffing, and on the handle ends, you want to just, turn, just buff that whole thing, all right? Super easy, doesn't take long, but when you're done with it, major wow factor, just gives it a rich look as far as the patina, and makes it truly look like a vintage piece. So I promise, if you do that, your friends and family won't know that we just went and bought brand new rolling pins and turned them into antiques. The only other thing I wanted to point out to you guys, you notice that we started with the exact same rolling pin. And listen, inside of here, you can still see the new wood. I'm just gonna take a Q-tip after a while, dip it in my stain, and just wipe it around inside of there so you don't see that new wood. You guys will probably want to do the same thing. But if you look at these and they're mixed in with 2 or 3 true vintage, or just a rolling pin with a different handle, maybe you can look somewhere and find another wood rolling pin. I don't know if like Target would have them. I feel like you could probably buy them at Bed Bath & Beyond, and maybe their handle is different. You can still do this, with other rolling pins you find somewhere else. But if you've got rolling pins that just have a different handle, and you put these 3 guys in, nobody's ever gonna look at these and know that we started with the exact same rolling pin. Are you with me? Because the handle colors are so different, they're too busy looking at the colors, they're never gonna notice that we started with the same. The other thing you can do is you can use 3 different colors of stain to do your antiquing, and then that truly makes it look like, 3 completely different rolling pins. Doesn't even give the appearance that we started with the same rolling pin, okay? So let me set those aside just for a minute, and then I'm gonna show you guys my crock. Hang on just a second. This is heavy, guys, especially with all my rolling pins in it. So let me get it turned around here so you guys can see it, all right? So what I did is I just took an old crock that I have, all right? I stuck this little towel in it just to kind of soften all the wood and all the stone. You guys don't have to do this piece, but if you're into like the black and white buffalo check, You could have a little piece of black and white fabric, buffalo check fabric, or if you've got a little kitchen towel that way, you know, it just kind of helps soften all of the hard textures that we have going on in the crock with the rolling pins. But I just set them in here, guys. It is literally that easy. So you're just gonna take your rolling pins and start sticking them in a crock, all right? Put as many as you want in there. You guys know that I've had mine decorated for Christmas, right? So I just tucked some little greenery. I had a really cute little candy cane, fabric candy cane stuck in mine. Had a little piece of red holly berry stuck in there. Looked adorable for Christmas. I still like my little greenery in just for the winter months, so I left it. I also had a little gingerbread guy. I took him out just so it wouldn't be so crowded while I'm showing you guys. But let me take this out too. Look, for just year round, done. Super cute. Good farmhousey look, rustic, primitive, country, call it what you want. But dirt cheap if you can buy most of your rolling pins for 50 cents a piece. So anyway, that's what I do with my rolling pin collection. So I will also take a picture for you guys. Let me get this back out of the way. That's heavy. I'll also take a picture for you guys of what I have on top of my kitchen cabinet. It's a little bit different style crock than this one, but I'll take a picture so that maybe that'll give you guys an idea, especially if you've got you know, space on top of your kitchen cabinets and you would like to put things up there. You don't want to spend a lot of money. This is the ticket. You don't have to use a crock. You can use a galvanized bucket. You could use a basket, you know, as long as the basket's a little taller, has some sides on it, you know, to hold the pins up. You could use something like that for sticking your rolling pins in. You don't even have to buy a crock if you don't have it. Let's see, are you guys, yes, I love, is it Nina? I can't see from over here. Put a sunflower in it for the summer months and even fall. You could leave your sunflower in it for fall, would be super cute. Yeah, I'd love that idea. So, Terry, thank you. Terry, I figured tonight's idea is one that you're gonna love, dear. So, let's see. Lori, you need to talk your mom out of one of her crocks. See if she'll let you have one, because this is a cute little decor thing, and if you don't have to buy the crock, all the better. So I was trying to think too, guys. I saw another cute crock the other day. Now this may not be for all of you because it does have a little color on it, but it's very similar to mine, but it had some little thin red stripes going around, and I want to say I saw it at Tractor Supply. So you might check Tractor Supply because I think it was on clearance. I don't know if it was considered like part of their Christmas gift line maybe that they got in, but Tractor Supply would be a place that you could look for a crock. And you guys can also just think about anything that's a kitchen utensil holder would be cute for your crocks. Now you want to make sure you kind of get something bigger because it's not going to be able to hold. I think you probably need at least 3 in there to look good. So you got to kind of watch the size, but maybe that's some ideas for you. The metal cans, little metal buckets, those are super cute. Hobby Lobby has tons of stuff. As a matter of fact, Hobby Lobby, if you go back to the floral department where they've got like their terracotta pots, the flower pots, they've got several different galvanized bucket type things and even some pottery stone looking pieces that are taller. So you guys might want to check Hobby Lobby too, because I guarantee you could find something that would hold your crocks that would be super cute. And if you get it there, don't forget to use your 40% off coupon so you don't have to pay full price for it. Sherry, you could even beat the handles up a little bit because over the years I would say, absolutely. And guys, listen, when you want to beat your handles up, you can literally take, you know, a nail, just a nail, and put deep scratch marks in it, or a screwdriver. You can use a screwdriver to create dents and dings in it. If you were able to lay your handle down flat on a surface, you don't want to do it like this because you could break your handle off. But if you laid your handle down flat on a surface, you could take a hammer and hit it a couple of times and put some pretty good dings in it. So Sherry, that's a great idea. You absolutely, and I've used all of those to create vintage looks, all right? I've even taken like little finish nails and a hammer and drove the finish nails in kind of in 2 or 3 places to give the appearance of like wormholes. So you can do that even to create a little more character on your handles of your rolling pins. So Sherry, thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. Sherry's got an old red crock from her mom. See, all of these things, girls, are awesome ideas. They're awesome ideas. If you've got family members or friends that have things like that and maybe they're not even using them, you need to hit them up and see, you know, even if you offer to purchase it from them, I bet they would sell it to you for a pretty fair price. So those are awesome ideas. Anyway, okay, I know I probably missed some of your comments, lots of your comments and questions. I'll go back and answer those. But before I get off, do you guys have any questions at all about taking our new rolling pins and turning those into vintage looking ones? Before I get off, hi Jessica, I'm glad you could join me, dear. Jessica, you'll have to hop back on and watch the replay because with your beautiful little rustic home you have going on, girl, you might want to create some of these. So you'll have to go back and watch from the beginning. And by the way, Jessica, I paid 50 cents for my rolling pins at the Edmond Walmart. So you'll have to go back and check that out. Anne has several true vintage rolling pins. Oh, I love them. I absolutely love them. So Anne, you could very easily go purchase some brand new rolling pins to add to your collection. So I love that. And you guys, another thing I did want to mention, when I told you about staining in, you could even stain your handles a darker color, like a dark walnut. And then I'm trying to think, I had, or do have, and it's not in this bucket, it must be up top. I have a rolling pin that the body of the rolling pin and the handles are both stained, but one end, the handles are just a darker. So you could stain your handles with Minwax dark walnut color and then stain the body the early American. So there's 2 different colors of stain. Especially you gals that like the neutral palette for your home, that would be a great option for you. A great option for you. Because then you just get the 2-tone stain look, and that would look good too. So, let's see. Thank you guys for always being so good to me. I appreciate you guys so much, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with you guys. All right, that's it, I think, for tonight. I hope you guys don't mind that I switched up our project for tonight, but I really wanted to share this in case you want to go try to find yourself some 50-cent rolling pins. So then tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll come back on and we'll talk about creating just kind of a little winter arrangement in some of our flower pots on the front porch. So we'll do that tomorrow or Tuesday. In the meantime, get to Walmart if you want to try to recreate our little vintage rolling pins. So I appreciate you gals. Thank y'all so much for joining me. You guys have a great evening. And if you will, remember to tell your friends by sprinkling my video, then in a few days I'll be picking someone else to receive some happy mail from me. So I appreciate you guys so much. And you are welcome. Lori, Sherry, you gals are welcome. And thank you guys for following along and always being so good to me and supportive. I appreciate you guys so very much. So you guys have a great evening, and I'll be back with you tomorrow or Tuesday. All right, bye-bye.